Breakfast is supposed to be the safest meal of the day. The one time when you can sit down with a hot cup of coffee, a plate of eggs, and feel like the world is calm again. But what if I told you that at some of the most popular breakfast chains, that comforting ritual is little more than smoke and mirrors? What looks like fresh food and homestyle cooking is often frozen, reheated, or downright unsafe. Seniors especially need to pay attention because with fixed incomes, fragile health, and a desire for dignity, you deserve more than reheated sludge and hidden bacteria. Let us start peeling back the curtain. The first stop is IHOP. The International House of Pancakes is famous for its giant stacks, colorful syrups, and endless options. But behind the griddle, it is less international and more industrial. Former cooks have admitted that omelets, scrambles, and even sunny side-up eggs often do not come from fresh cracked shells. Instead, they arrive in large plastic bags of liquid egg, sealed, frozen, and ready to be poured onto a hot surface. The fluffy texture is not skill, it is factory engineering. Pancakes are another story. Many customers think they are hand-mixed in the kitchen. But according to multiple insiders, the batter is often pre-mixed, shipped in tubs, and stored for days. That means your fresh breakfast is closer to a microwave meal dressed up with whipped cream. The illusion does not stop there. IHOP's menu is loaded with syrupy toppings that look fun but are nutritional nightmares. Those strawberry, blueberry, and chocolate drizzles? They are not real fruit sauces. They are corn syrup dyed bright colors, with more sugar than a candy bar. One customer once snapped a photo of their pancakes with toppings sliding off like melted plastic. The caption read, "This is less breakfast, more science experiment." For seniors watching blood sugar and weight, that is not breakfast comfort, that is a health ambush. The final insult? Many IHOP kitchens rely on microwaves more than chefs. Cooks have confessed that bacon, sausage, and even hash browns often sit frozen until zapped back to life. For a restaurant that promises home-style meals, the only home involved is the freezer. Now let us talk about Denny's. Marketed as America's diner, it sells nostalgia, warmth, and the idea that you are stepping into a friendly corner spot. But when you step into the kitchen, the picture changes. A former employee once shared a video showing a tray of eggs that looked more like slimy paste than a morning staple. Powdered eggs are the secret weapon here, mixed with water and poured into pans to mimic the real thing. Seniors who grew up with farm-fresh eggs are being served powdered knockoffs without ever being told. Burgers, bacon, and sausage? Many of them are microwaved first, then finished on the grill, just long enough to trick your eyes. Denny's also lures customers with cheap specials like the $2 or $3 breakfast combos. On the surface, it looks like a bargain, but what you are paying for in savings, you pay for in quality. Those dollar deals often rely on the cheapest cuts of meat, reheated vegetables, and potatoes that have been frozen for weeks. Reviews online are filled with pictures of gray sausage links, pancakes as flat as paper, and butter that looks more like plastic spread than dairy. One viral review called Denny's pancakes floppy disks of regret. That is not value for money. That is throwing away your dignity for a plate of warmed-up leftovers. And then there is Waffle House, a chain with a cult following known for its late-night crowds and friendly atmosphere. For many seniors, Waffle House feels like an old-fashioned diner that never changed. But the reality is much messier. Social media has been flooded with employee videos showing filthy grills with layers of old grease that have not been scraped in hours. Some clips reveal pests in prep areas, scurrying along counters where waffles are plated. It is the kind of behind-the-scenes footage that makes you lose your appetite instantly. Customers have also posted photos of undercooked waffles that look raw in the middle with gooey batter oozing out. One picture showed a waffle so pale it looked like it had been steamed, not cooked. Seniors who are already at higher risk of foodborne illness cannot afford to gamble with undercooked batter or unclean prep stations. The low prices and friendly vibe mask a risky truth. In many locations, safety takes a back seat to speed. What makes these three chains so concerning is not just the food itself, but the betrayal of trust. Seniors grew up in a time when diners cracked real eggs, fried bacon fresh, and poured coffee that had been brewed right there on the counter. Today, these corporate chains cut corners to save money while selling the image of tradition. But tradition does not come in a plastic bag of frozen eggs, and community does not come from microwaves. The stakes are higher for older adults. Weak immune systems make bacteria more dangerous. Sugar bombs in pancakes are harder on aging hearts and insulin levels. And every wasted dollar on low-quality food stings more when you are living on retirement savings. These breakfast spots have turned the first meal of the day into a lottery of disappointment. At IHOP, you might get eggs from a bag and syrup with no fruit. At Denny's, your special could be powdered eggs and microwaved meat. At Waffle House, your waffle could come with a side of grease or pests. Seniors deserve better than to risk their health or waste their money just to sit in a booth plastered with nostalgia. You deserve breakfast that respects your time, your safety, and your dignity. And the worst part? This is just the beginning. Because if you thought frozen eggs and dirty grills were bad, wait until you hear about what some chains are serving that barely even counts as food at all. If the first round of frozen eggs and greasy grills made you lose your appetite, brace yourself, because the next set of breakfast chains takes the word substitute to a whole new level. What you think is protein to fuel your day might actually be a science project in disguise. And when seniors depend on high-quality protein to keep muscles strong and energy steady, these fakes are not just disappointing, they are dangerous. Let us begin with Subway and its much-hyped breakfast sandwiches. Subway has long claimed to be the fresh alternative, but nothing about its morning menu feels fresh once you know the truth. In 2021, an investigative report revealed that Subway's eggs were not truly eggs at all. Lab testing found that the yellow patties served in sandwiches contained close to 50% fillers, including vegetable oils, cornstarch, and stabilizers. Customers thought they were getting protein-packed eggs, but what they actually got was half food, half chemistry experiment. One photo posted online showed a rubbery yellow patty bending in half like a piece of foam. Comments flooded in with jokes. This is not an egg, this is yoga mat material. For seniors who need real nutrition, that is not just false advertising, it is outright theft of health. And the controversies do not stop with eggs. Subway's tuna scandal, where tests questioned if their tuna contained any actual tuna, echoes into breakfast meats as well. Former employees have admitted that expiration labels were sometimes scratched off and replaced with new dates. One uploaded a picture of chicken strips stored in tubs with cloudy liquid, looking more like soggy tissues than meat. When asked about freshness, one worker said, "If it is slimy but not smelly, we still serve it." That is not a standard anyone should trust, least of all seniors with vulnerable immune systems. Next up, the giant everyone knows, McDonald's. Seniors often choose McDonald's for convenience and familiarity. A coffee and egg McMuffin can feel like a cheap, safe option. But inside those breakfast sandwiches is a reality that might make you think twice. The freshly cracked egg you see in commercials? In many locations, what you actually get is a frozen, pre-cooked egg puck, thawed and reheated on a griddle. The bacon and sausage patties are pre-cooked, flash-frozen, and shipped in bulk. They are designed for speed, not nutrition. Former employees have described how syrup comes in giant industrial bags that sometimes leak and attract flies. One worker recalled cutting open a leaking bag of syrup and seeing fruit flies swarm out, only to have a manager shrug and say, "Just rinse the nozzle and keep going." And the pancakes? Oh, the pancakes. Customers think they are enjoying a sweet morning treat, but each stack is a sugar bomb disguised as breakfast. With syrup and toppings, a single pancake meal can have more sugar than a candy bar and more sodium than some frozen dinners. One senior reviewer summed it up perfectly. It is cake for breakfast, plain and simple. That might not sound so bad until you consider how much strain excess sugar puts on aging hearts and blood pressure. Add in the fact that food at many locations sits under heat lamps far too long, and you are left with limp, chewy food that is both unhealthy and unappetizing. Now let us move to Burger King, a chain that promotes its croissantage as a premium morning sandwich. But peel back the buttery layers and you will see the truth. The croissant is frozen, baked elsewhere, and reheated in store. The egg is often from the same pre-cooked bagged mix used at other chains. The meat patties, frozen for weeks, then microwaved and stacked quickly during the rush. The result is a sandwich that is not flaky, not fresh, and not worth the price. A viral photo once showed a croissant which so deflated it looked like someone had already sat on it. Comments mocked it as croissant flat. But the real concern comes from the coffee machines and prep stations. Multiple ex-employees have confessed that coffee machines are rarely cleaned properly. One worker said that black sludge and mold were common inside the nozzles where coffee pours out. Customers expect a warm, energizing start to the day, not a side of mildew with their caffeine. Add to that the lawsuits Burger King has faced for unsafe prep practices, including undercooked meat and unclean conditions, and you have a breakfast that feels less like a treat and more like a gamble. For seniors who rely on coffee for energy and routine, being served contaminated drinks is an insult to both trust and health. The bigger issue across Subway, McDonald's, and Burger King is the illusion of protein. Seniors are told they are eating eggs, sausage, and bacon, foods meant to provide strength and stability. But in reality, many of these proteins are pumped with fillers, preservatives, and low-grade meat scraps. A sausage patty with more soy than pork does not deliver the nutrients older bodies need. Bagged eggs bulked up with starch are not the same as fresh eggs cracked on a skillet. For someone in their 60s or 70s, quality matters. Every meal should help maintain health, not chip away at it. The humor of it all is that the branding still works. Ads show farm-fresh eggs, sizzling bacon, and golden pancakes, while in reality you might get a frozen hockey puck of egg, syrup with fruit flies, or coffee poured through a moldy nozzle. Seniors deserve better than to pay for fake nutrition dressed up in bright packaging. What these chains are selling is not breakfast. It is denial in a bun. And just when you think the protein scams are the lowest point, the next group of breakfast chains takes things even further. Because while Subway, McDonald's, and Burger King might give you fake eggs and moldy machines, others are serving food that inspectors themselves have flagged as unsafe. These next places are not just disappointing, they can be downright dangerous. Take Taco Bell. Most people know it for late-night tacos, but the company has pushed hard into breakfast with burritos, wraps, and scrambles. What they do not tell you is how those scrambled eggs are made. They come in powdered form, shipped in bags, and rehydrated with hot water. Stir until mushy, then scoop into tortillas. One viral video from a former employee showed this process in detail, and the comments wrote themselves, "I thought I was eating eggs. Turns out it was foam insulation." Customers have also complained about burnt tortillas, undercooked eggs, and greasy prep bins, where food sits for hours. Seniors who need food handled at safe temperatures are being handed breakfast from kitchens where speed trumps safety. And it is not only the eggs. Health inspectors have cited multiple Taco Bell locations for keeping meat and cheese out too long, allowing bacteria to thrive. For someone in their 70s, a bad burrito could mean a trip to the hospital. Next is Panera Bread, a chain that markets itself as the healthier option. Seniors often go there believing they are choosing clean food, maybe a bagel with cream cheese or an egg soufflé. But the truth is much less wholesome. Those egg soufflés are not cooked fresh in the store. They arrive frozen in plastic bags, reheated until fluffy, and plated as if they were homemade. The bagels, packed with hidden sugar, in some cases more than a slice of cake. Oatmeal, which sounds like the safe choice, is often just instant packets mixed with hot water, with added sweeteners already inside. Former employees have confessed that avocado spreads often sit out long enough to turn brown, then are mashed and restirred to look fresh. One even joked, "If it is green, it goes on the sandwich, no matter how old." Reviews show customers posting photos of soggy breakfast sandwiches and clean salads with wilted lettuce. For seniors watching cholesterol and sugar, this brand is especially dangerous because it hides unhealthy shortcuts under the label of health. Panera sells trust but serves deception. And then there is Starbucks, the company that seniors often rely on for a quick breakfast on the way to appointments or family visits. But those breakfast sandwiches in the glass case, they are not made fresh that morning. They are factory-made, frozen, shipped, thawed, and microwaved. A former worker said it best, "Everything comes in plastic, nothing is fresh." Customers have shared photos of sandwiches with rubbery eggs and bacon that looks boiled instead of crisped. One reviewer wrote, "I paid $6 for a sandwich that tastes like a wet napkin." The drinks and oatmeal are not much better. The oatmeal is an instant packet dumped into a cup, with hot water added. Seniors who think they are getting hearty oats are really just paying triple the price for the same packet they could buy in bulk at the store. And the ice machines? Multiple former employees have reported mold and slime inside the soda fountains and ice bins. Inspectors have backed this up, citing Starbucks locations for dirty beverage machines that could easily contaminate drinks. So that refreshing iced coffee may come with a side of mildew. For anyone with a weaker immune system, that is not just gross, it is risky. These last three chains, Taco Bell, Panera, and Starbucks, represent the full cycle of betrayal. Taco Bell cuts corners with powdered eggs and unsafe prep. Panera markets itself as healthy while quietly loading food with sugar and serving frozen meals in disguise. Starbucks charges premium prices for factory food, while customers unknowingly sip from machines harboring mold. Each one has built a reputation that makes seniors feel safe. Each one is betraying that trust. The tragedy is that breakfast should be the one meal you can count on. Seniors depend on it for steady energy, balanced nutrition, and a sense of comfort. Instead, these chains are serving bacteria, fillers, sugar bombs, and frozen pucks. The cost is more than the bill. It is your health, your time, and your dignity. One wrong meal can upset digestion, spike blood sugar, or worse. And with fixed incomes, wasting $10 or $15 on a microwaved sandwich is more than just a disappointment. It is disrespect. So what are the smarter choices? Instead of powdered eggs from Taco Bell, invest in real eggs at home. A dozen costs less than a single burrito, and you know exactly what is going into your skillet. Instead of Panera's sugar-laced oatmeal, buy plain oats, add your own fruit, and control the sweetness. Instead of paying Starbucks prices for frozen sandwiches, brew coffee at home and prepare a simple piece of toast with peanut butter. Not only are these alternatives cheaper, they are safer and healthier. Seniors deserve food that fuels, not food that fools. And yet millions keep eating at these chains, every morning, every week. Why? Because marketing works. Because the logos feel familiar. Because we are told breakfast is quick, easy, and safe at these places. But now you know the truth. You know that eggs might be half starch, syrup might be swarming with flies, coffee machines might be growing mold. You know that frozen soufflés are passed off as fresh, and microwaved sandwiches are sold as premium. With that knowledge comes power, the power to choose differently, to protect your health, to demand better. So the next time you pull up to one of these chains, ask yourself, is the convenience worth the risk? Is the nostalgia worth the bacteria? Is the $5 sandwich worth your dignity? Seniors especially cannot afford to gamble with breakfast. You worked hard for your retirement, for your health, and for your safety. Do not let a chain steal that from you, one frozen egg puck at a time. Which of these breakfast betrayals shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, and subscribe to The Hidden Menu so you never miss the next food secret.
And remember, the truth is not always on the menu.